Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Robinson. Can you hear us any at all? Morning, Mr. Robinson. Can you hear us?
Yes, I'm hearing you well. Can you hear me?
Go again, Mr. Robinson. Just testing something. Could you tell us if you're hearing us again, please?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Members of the media, colleagues, thank you for joining us this morning in our virtual press briefing, which is being hosted by the Honorable Carl Samuda, Minister of Labor and Social Security. We're also joined online by Dr. Ronald Robinson, Chairman of the National Minimum Wage Advisory Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. The Honorable Minister, Carl Samuda, will now address you on matters related to the national minimum wage. Minister, can you please? Thank you.
Morning, everybody. Permanent Secretary, other officers of the ministry. It's great to be able to be with you this morning to make these announcements. First of all, let me extend the heartiest congratulations and gratitude to Dr. Robinson and his team, who effectively dealt with the final product that we are now going to unveil today. The National Minimum Wage Advisory Commission submitted their report, quite frankly, as far back as 2020. The fact of the matter is that at that time, Jamaica was at the stage where the pandemic had set in, and we were losing thousands of jobs because of the challenges that it posed. And the decision was taken then that in the face of all those challenges, it would be best to give us a chance to take the necessary action in order to get the labor market back on stream. I'm happy to announce today that we are almost there. Not quite there fully, but we are almost there. The recovery process has been quite rapid for Jamaica, and we are enjoying the benefits of that recovery. In addition, I'd like to thank all the persons with whom consultation took place. And I'm going to take the time to go through them. The Planning Institute of Jamaica, the Jamaica Security Guards Association, the Jamaica Employers Federation, the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, the Jamaica Society for Industrial Security, Jamaica Household Workers Union, the Bureau of Gender Affairs, the Sugar Producers Federation of Jamaica, the Jamaica Gasoline Retailers Association, the Union of Clerical, Administrative and Supervisory Employees, and the Bustamante Industrial Trades Union. So you can appreciate that this process has benefited from as qualified a group of persons consulting on the matter that we could possibly find in Jamaica. So I wish to dispel any notion that people should have that this is a decision by the Ministry of Health, and more particularly the Minister of Health. It is a collaborative effort, and I am very pleased to be the minister to work with such qualified persons to advise on this particular matter. Cabinet has approved an increase in the national minimum wage. That was done at yesterday's cabinet meeting. This will move the country's minimum wage from $7 to $9 per 40-hour work week, effective April 1st, 2022. This represents a 28.5% increase. Cabinet has approved an increase also in the minimum wage for security guards from $9,700 to $10,500 per 40-hour work week, and increases in the allowances payable to security guard. Laundry allowance will be increased from $40 to $47.62 per hour. Firearm premium allowance will be increased from $48 to $51.95 per hour. The dog handlers premium allowance will be increased from $33 to $35.72 per hour. Life insurance coverage with double indemnity protection and dismemberment coverage will also increase from 2.75 million to 2.97 million. The necessary orders will give effect to these increases when it is tabled in the House, which will take place as soon as the House convenes from the recess that we are now on. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That is what I think many people have been awaiting. I'm sorry that it has had to take this time, and also, like everyone else, it would have been wonderful if we could have increased it even further, but it depends largely on the pace at which the Jamaican economy recovers. We thank God for the pace that it has recovered so far, and we have expectations that things will improve to enable this benefit to even be more meaningful in the near future. Thank you very much. Now, do I take questions? Or I don't know if anyone has questions of the chairman who is online. Ronald, you're looking good this morning. You look fit and ready. Huh?
Thank you very much, Minister. Thank you.
It's a feeling of accomplishment. You have completed a very important task on behalf of the people of Jamaica. So I want to thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. I must say, on behalf of the Commission, and certainly with the tripartite commission, for those who don't know, it's made up of a representative from the Jamaica Employees Federation and also a representative from the Jamaica Trade Union, the Confederation of Trade Unions. And it was quite an exhaustive and long process of consultations right across. At that time, we could have done physical and face-to-face consultations, and we traveled the length and breadth of the country, as well as tabling and taking submissions from various groups and so forth. Quite a spirited. And, you know, for the first time, we got unanimity amongst the employers and the trade unions on this particular issue. We do understand that, you know, we had the unfortunate luck of when we submitted that COVID was at its peak and just started. And so we understand, but it's never too late for a show of rain, I think. And one of the things that we have sought to do in this particular report was to think of it not just as a wage increase or a dollar increase, but to also add several other, you know, several other aspects to sort of give a package. And I think, you know, that will be dealt with in the long-term basis, but it's really to try and to move the persons earning at this level to almost a point of being able to live. And I think that's where we're heading. So thank you very much, Minister, for the opportunity to serve on behalf of the Commission.
Very much, Dr. Robinson. I should also point out that many people at times when I meet and discuss these matters with them are of the opinion that this is the wage that people should be paid. This is the minimum wage. And there are many people who use this as a guide, but it does not constitute the wage that you are expected to pay. If you can do more and you help, as many do, those who work for you that fall into these categories, then by all means, certainly effort should be made to do that so that they do not suffer from you know, any sort of loss in revenue. So don't mistake this for what it is not. It is a minimum wage, not the living wage, because many people cannot, quite frankly, survive comfortably at this level. But it certainly offers a base on which to build, and that's what our objective is, to eventually enable those who need it the most to get increases incrementally that will make them able to have a comfortable life, send their children to school, have a nice home to live in, transportation to move up and down, just a better quality of life. That's what the final objective is. And through this mechanism, we will use this as a basis on which to build so that we can improve the quality of life of our less fortunate. I just want to reiterate the fact that the increase is one from $7,000
$7,000, yes.
to $9,000. The Minister of Finance, of course, has had discussions with us, and he's fully aware of our efforts, and he has committed himself wherever possible, and I know he's that kind of person, wherever possible, he will make every effort to see to it that wages for the Jamaican people improve as soon as our economy improves more than it is improving now, at a faster rate, and the productivity of our people increase so that we can add more wealth and value to the country. So thank you all very much for being with us this morning, and feeling any other questions, I will ask that the meeting be terminated at this stage. Thank you again, Dr. Robinson, with all your team and all the members with whom we continue
I have a
to
question.
have dialogue. Thank you.
I think there's a question
there's a
here.
question? Okay, fine. Someone has a question?
Good morning. My hand has been up. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I have two questions. Apologies if I missed it, but when will the rates become effective? And the second question I
First of
have,
April. The 1st of April. The 1st of April.
1st of April.
Yes.
Okay. The second question is, in 2019, the association or representing industrial security guards, they had some concerns about guards employed to some government entities being underpaid. The PS at the time said that an investigation was being carried out and trying to find out if those investigations are complete or what's the status of those. So if Mrs. Roberts then could respond. Thank you.
I don't know if you want to come and respond. Sufficient to say that those are discussions that continue, because it is, as you know, it's a rather complex issue, and it is one that has been outstanding for a very long time. And based on information available to me, it appears that the issue is being resolved amicably. But I don't know, perhaps, PS, if you have something you'd like to add that I'm not at the moment aware of. One thing you know for sure is that the payments to security guards will be placed on a footing that is predictable, reliable, and fair. That much I can say as we proceed into the future. But PS, you have a comment you'd like to make?
At the time, the ministry did some research on the situation with security guards. What I can say is that for the guards who came to us complaining about the wage levels, those matters have been resolved. For the different security guard companies, the ministry visited a number of them, and it was realized that a number of them were in fact not paying the time and a half rate that security guards were allowed for overtime pay. As the minister said, we have been working with the individual companies to resolve those issues.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Bashan Brown from TVJ. One of the issues over the years has been this livable wage matter. I think you raised it a short while ago when you were speaking,
Yes.
which will take in consideration basic things like housing, transportation, etc. Helene Davis-White, for example, has argued that countries that have done this have done sort of extensive studies of their labor force before arriving at this particular figure. When will we arrive at that livable wage versus this continual increase of the minimum wage?
Yes, well, as you probably heard me say to Dr. Robinson that our relationship will continue on the basis that we will constantly be seeking answers to that very question. And the extent to which we are able to put that in the context of the level of productivity that is being achieved at the workplace, the level of support received from the employers, the level of responsiveness of our workforce, because in the final analysis, if we do not increase our productivity, if we do not increase our gross domestic product, if we do not create more wealth in the country that can be distributed among the most vulnerable, then this will all be to naught. So what I am going to be doing is working very closely with the team of experts and people who are interested, especially the trade union movement, so that we can collectively arrive at a formula that will set the stage for the establishment of what we consider a livable wage, and use that as the basis or the launching pad for improving wages generally across the country, to the benefit of the most vulnerable. So it's a continuous process. This ministry is a ministry that never sleeps. The processes are continuous. And the meetings that we hold and the discussions that we hold and the committees that we establish for this purpose are ongoing continuously. And so from that process, we are hoping that we'll be in a position to report in a more positive way the next time we meet like this.
I have a follow-up.
And Minister, may I just add something to that, Minister, if you just
Sure.
give me a minute on that issue. Just so you know, Bashan, this issue of the livable wage is front and center at the discussions of the Minimum Wage Commission. And over the next couple of months, we will be engaging, and in fact, we have commissioned and engaged the services of competent individuals that from the university work with us to address some of these very fundamental issues that we're talking about. And you will see a series of meetings, consultations, hearings that we will be having public forum and in a public way on how to address and to deal with this livable wage. So that in conjunction with the very deliberative process that the minister has just outlined, I think will get us moving in that direction. But as you can understand, it is not a very simple issue. And so all of the economic parameters, macro, micro, and all of the conditions have to be taken into consideration before arriving at that figure, because we are a developing country with a peculiar set of issues. And so, but the good thing is that it is now front and center, and we are moving and working to head into that direction.
And also,
Minister, I have one more question.
Sure.
So you mentioned that the commission made its recommendation about 2020 thereabout. What would you say to people who are going to get this increase, but they're now dealing with an over 9% increase in inflation?
Yes. Well, this is just one aspect of our support mechanism for those who are most vulnerable. There are other programs in this ministry that we distribute assistance to persons to assist them in many aspects of their lives: housing, education, down to very small business support, financial business support. We give packages for the indigent and so on. This ministry, as I hasten to remind everyone, this ministry doesn't earn money. This ministry, other than through the work permit program, this ministry really provides assistance to the majority of our people who are in greatest need. So I understand what you're saying, that the time, just over a year or so, that has elapsed, and the movement has not reflected that from the time it was recommended. It all has to do with our interaction with the Minister of Finance, who in the final analysis is the main gatekeeper of the resources that we have to disperse. If he gets it wrong, we are all in trouble. Both workers, employers, everybody. And we work collaboratively we work closely, and we don't make pronouncements that are not fact-based and do not provide the level of responsibility in pursuing these kinds of solutions for the persons who are, as I said, in greatest need. As soon as we become better able to provide resources to benefit the poor of the country, rest assured that this government is committed to that objective, to increasing as we see the need, to providing relief as we see the need, on top of what we do now routinely. So I just want to assure you of that.
Sorry, one final question, Minister. This question relates to the fact that the last increase, I believe, was in 2018 when Shahini Robinson was Minister.
Yes.
Can you assure minimum wage earners that they will not have to wait so long again?
No, they
for
won't,
another
because hopefully we won't have to contend with the pandemic. Hopefully this pandemic will be something, will be behind us when the time comes for us to have another review and to make another increase in the minimum wage. But as was said, I mean, ultimately, what we are seeking to do is to lay a foundation so that the persons in need can expect a good wage from their employers that will serve them well, and they don't have to use this as a crutch to influence their employers to give them the kind of money that they really need to survive and live a decent life, have the kind of facilities that others do. I mean, we can't be talking about developing a nation and building the minds of the young people if they are brought up in an environment of deprivation and need. And therefore, as minister responsible, I take that responsibility very, very seriously. And it is my intention to do everything that is humanly possible to ensure that what we are able to provide, the kind of assistance that we are able to give through collaboration with the Minister of Finance and the Ministry of Finance and other ministries, that is done. So rest assured, certainly there will not be a lapse in time similar to the one that we have just passed through. Okay, Vashan?
I hear you, Minister. Thank you.
Okay. Charlene?
Good afternoon, Mr. Samuda.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So the President of the Union and of Clerical, Administrative and Supervisory Employees has suggested that this increase needs to be an annual increase. Any consideration of making this an annual increase as opposed to just over 2 or 3 years?
I don't know. I really can't answer that definitively. You know, as I said, we work very closely with the Ministry of Finance, as you can well understand. And I certainly will make the suggestion and see what mechanism can be put in place. I think ultimately what we want is we want this process to be renewed on a more timely basis so that people don't have to suffer from anxiety when they see their ability to acquire goods and services mounting and there's no movement in their wages. But in addition to that, we intend to have discussions with the Employers Federation, and we intend to impress upon them the need to pay particular attention to training of workers, because to rely on one factor of production, which is labor, as the main factor by which you assess your ability to make a profit. I, on the other hand, feel very committed to the view that the application of appropriate technology in today's world, especially among the young, is the way to go for the employer. Train the workers, make them more efficient, make them more productive, let them able to create the kind of output that will cause the country to earn more money, because with greater earnings will come greater salaries. So that is not a matter of asking for an increase. You will command an increase based on the output that you are able to provide, based on the training you have received, based on the use of applied technology. That's the direction the country has to go in my humble opinion.
And Minister, just to add on that, one of the rules, the expanded rules that the Commission will be embarking upon this year is under the act that empowers the Commission is just that, to monitor and to constantly review the circumstances under which an increase is desired. So things such as economic indicators, workplace conditions, all of these other things. And on a timely basis, if we do believe that things have changed dramatically, it is within our remit to say to the minister in an advisory note that this probably needs to be reviewed, etc., and all of those things. So there is a mechanism in place to support the minister with a constant review of conditions, both working and financial and economic conditions of this segment of the market.
Yes, you know, the two major factors of production is capital and labor. Capital takes good care of capital, and it is important that equal care be paid to taking good care of labor as the partner in the productive process. And the only way you can really take care of labor properly is to train labor, expose them to the kind of training that will improve their productivity so that they can take their rightful place as a full-fledged partner in the productive process. Well, that's just my philosophy, but we'll see how it develops. Thank you very much, everybody. If there are no other questions, then I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank you all for putting up with me and others here. And we have done our best at this stage, and we intend to do even better as we go forward. Thank you very much.